In 1916, a Mexican revolutionary general led one of the most daring attacks on American soil. He is viewed in very different ways depending on who you ask, and this film will be exploring both sides, that which sees him as a freedom-fighting revolutionary, and that which sees him as a dangerous terrorist. His name was Francisco Villa, better known as Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa invaded the border town of Columbus, New Mexico on March 9, 1916. It seemed his attack could not fail. Villa had a force of nearly 500 men, all armed and ready. There's a lot of disagreement among historians whether or not the raid was a success, but Pancho Villa himself declared it a success, saying he captured 300 rifles and shotguns, 80 horses, and 30 mules. But other sources disagree. Despite getting what he came for, the raid is regarded as a complete tactical disaster, as Villa, despite his superior numbers, lost 90 men and had 6 of his own captured, 5 of which who were later executed. The U.S. Army and civilians, even with only about 350 men, lost 8 soldiers and 10 civilians. This is due in part to incorrect information from Villa's scouting parties, who thought that there were only about 30 soldiers stationed there. In reality, that was just a garrison force of the 13th Cavalry Regiment who were stationed nearby. When the alarm was sounded, 4 American machine guns were quickly deployed in a defensive position. Each of those guns fired more than 5,000 rounds in the 90-minute battle. In addition, alongside the army force that arrived to reinforce the garrison, many townsfolk with rifles and shotguns took up arms in defense of their homes.
Well, in any confrontation, there are always 2 sides, the side of the winner and the side of the loser. And in this case, we see that both sides lost something. I'm glad that now it's a unification because now we are friends, but we understand what happened in those days. According to our Mexican history, Pancho Villa was in Parral and he sent 350 people over to attack Columbus, New Mexico, because he had a bad deal with Mr. Ribel and Mr. Zimmerman. They had sold him 400 rifles and 40 boxes of bullets. The bullets were blank, and out of the 400, 1/3 of the rifles did not work.
It was a raid. Villa came here for a couple of things. Like they said in the lecture that they had this morning, he was looking for horses.
Yeah.
They were running out of horses, and there was a ready source of horses here with a cavalry regiment in residence. He was also looking for machine guns, and they were here in residence.
So he was very upset about it. So he sent his people, and he gave them a plan. Pancho Villa was never here. Pancho Villa was in Parral, and 3 days later he was attacking somewhere over there. There is no way he could have been here because it's 450 miles on a horse. That would have taken him months to get here.
But for the most part, it was a raid for supplies. It cost him about 100 men by the time the smoke cleared, and he got nothing for it. So what's my opinion of the raid? It was a failure.
After Villa's men fled Columbus, the U.S. government initiated a huge manhunt to track him down. But despite being hounded by one of the largest manhunts in U.S. history, Villa managed to evade capture for 11 months and was later pardoned for his crimes by the Mexican government. He then happily retired to his ranch where he was later assassinated. While this seemed like a fairly insignificant event, it in fact proved an excellent training experience for U.S. troops who went off to World War I shortly afterward. In fact, some people say that we may have lost World War I without this opportunity to better our men. Today, both sides remain vigilant, defending their sides of the story to the end. But without any living first-hand witnesses to provide factual insight on the raid, it simply remains a matter of opinion and speculation.
Opinions are like armpits. Everybody's got them.
Yeah.
Most of them smell.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's right.
That was good.